Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys I thought it'd be very interesting to discuss the current state of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I think it's very interesting, you know, this year, 2020, has been interesting, I think, overall in general, but currently, I personally feel like, and maybe you feel the same way too, that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been, well, a little weird and interesting. It's not its normal self, so to speak. You know, usually we have situations here in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where cards get expensive right before national season, cards go down in price, then cards go back up when season starts, then cards mellow out around the holidays, then cards go back up in price, right? And then Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments, we get to see them, price spikes go up because of that reason. But nowadays, we're seeing a lot of things differently. And just overall, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Experience for 2020 has been more or less non-existent to some degrees, and more or less has exploded in some degrees. So those are some things I want to cover with, and we'll talk about more in depth. So let's just talk about the three main things we're going to cover in this video. Number one, the market. I think it's a very interesting thing to talk about because it just does its own thing now, it feels like. Then on top of that, we're going to talk about tournaments because I think live tournaments and online tournaments need to be taken more into account now with everything going on. And then just generally overall how Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are adapting to these times and just coping with these times of not being around stinky Yu-Gi-Oh! Players every week, which I miss the smell of nobody wearing deodorant. I miss it so not at all do I miss it. So I had to say it like that. I'm sorry. I'm being weird. But yeah, let's get in talking about this. So the market in Yu-Gi-Oh! The market, like I said, as I was describing at the beginning of this video, used to have trends. Like anything else, it had trends. But this year, this is what the market has done. Usually it's like this. It'll go up, then down, then up and down, like woo, woo, like a heart monitor. Now it's like this. Like it just keeps going up. Like anything that could be worth something is worth something in Yu-Gi-Oh! My Yu-Gi-Oh! Collection, this is not even half of it. This is not even a quarter of it, probably. Maybe a quarter of it. But a quarter of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Collection has probably gone up more in price than I know. My binders of stuff, I'm looking at prices just for fun. And I'm like, when did this card go up in price? When did this buyout occur? I have 6 of these things. Like, that's what it feels like. Like, my collection has gotten a lot more expensive and valuable. And I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, it's lying all over the place. Lord knows I'm sleeping with Yu-Gi-Oh! Money and I don't even know it. That's what it feels like. That's how volatile the market's gotten. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm just like, wow, these prices are crazy. And then I'm looking at old school cards, which I have a lot from that I collected 3, 4, 5 years ago when I was, just like in this phase of like building old school decks. And I'm just like, that's worth money. Why is this worth 15? Why is this worth 20? Why is this worth 30? This is $10. I have 6 of these $5 cards. Like that's the way it feels like. Now I don't even pay attention anymore really to I want to say it. I don't pay attention to the secondary market much anymore because it does its own thing. Like, I don't even know how to judge it anymore. Like, I'll listen, okay, what's going to be short print? What's not going to be short print? Okay, that's all I want to hear. Because literally, it just does its own thing. And I think this is for a few reasons. And it's important to to mention this because I don't think that many people have mentioned it really as much as they should be. And that is disposable income. Usually, people are spending a lot more money that they don't need to spend. People buy a lot of stuff. People do buy a lot of stuff. I don't buy all this, by the way. I was gifted a lot of these cards. Long stories. Collections that people got out. I got a lot of stuff. 15 years, 20 years worth. It adds up, guys. But people buy a lot of stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh! And with COVID, people are not able to go out to spend money as much as they did on things, go out, do activities, go travel to places, travel even to events does cost money for Yu-Gi-Oh! And any type of events. But you can't do that as much now, right? So you have all this income and you decide to spend it. Now think, that's the case for most people right now in Yu-Gi-Oh! There are Yu-Gi-Oh! Players out there that will spend their last dime on a card rather than pay a bill or a rent to live somewheres. I know these people. But if you have all this disposable income, you're probably going to throw it into your hobby. Add on to the fact that people have more time, and maybe there's a lot of, with the new Master Rule coming out that we've talked about prior, and more players starting to get back even at the beginning of this year, and compound that with more income, it makes the market seem the way it is right now a lot more understandable. Because people have more income right now. You have people that have jobs and people that don't have jobs. And the people that have jobs and are making money have all this disposable income that they don't have to spend because they're not doing as much. I work as a banker, and I can tell you that this is a true fact from multiple people that I've talked to over the last 5-6 months. That's my job. I work as a banker, guys. You may not have known that. Seto Kaiba works as a banker. And to say all this, it's true. You see this when you're talking to clients. I'm not going to say what bank I work for, but you see this, and you kind of start to understand that, yeah, this is probably happening, why these things are going up. Like, you look at anything right now, and you have the haves and the have-nots. I hate to say it, that's the case. You have people that have jobs and people that don't. And the people that have jobs have a lot more disposable income because they're not traveling. And they're not doing things, they're not going out as much. And look at yourself, maybe. That could be the case even for you right now if you still have a job. So I think this is a case where this is the reason, if you think about it in that terminology, it makes the market seem a lot more sense. Because people are just buying anything that they want. And when you keep doing that month after month after month after month because people are stuck inside, don't go out as much, don't do as much, it makes more sense why the market just keeps going up and up, up and up and up, and just things keep going up. It makes more sense. Plus the fact that there's not a lot of exchanging of cards. There's no other way to really exchange cards, not in person, which people underestimate how much cards board and card paper money gets exchanged at a Yu-Gi-Oh! Event. Especially a YCS event. You'd be surprised the money that changes hands. You'd be very surprised. So, saying all this all starts to make sense why the market is where it is. And that's the way 2020 has been. On top of that, the state of Yu-Gi-Oh! Has also affected dueling overall. Yes, we have remote dueling. I don't know who's doing remote dueling because I haven't done it. I'm not interested in doing it because I find it a little odd. I'd rather play with you without a mask in person. I hate to say it. I'm just being honest. Because can you imagine a real life duel? And maybe you've had this experience. And if you've been to a locals, I want to hear your experiences with people wearing masks and trying to communicate in a duel. I really want to hear it. Because I had Ash Blossom in hand. Oh, I can't. What? As a banker, I've had that problem. Lord Almighty in a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel. Maybe you're having a way to figure that out. But I haven't had that experience, and I could only imagine it's a little bit crazy. So people have been getting more into online dueling. I think we've seen a big explosion, and you see this with a lot of other Yu-Gi YouTubers who do Twitch, live streams of Yu-Gi-Oh! And things of that nature. I'm not really into that stuff. Like, if you guys wanted me to, I could, but I'm going to be honest, it would probably be the most boring thing ever because I'm going to be focused on deck building. And I'm not doing drunken live streams. That's just not me. I'm 30. I don't need drinking alcohol. I'm going to be honest. I drink more tea than alcohol. I'll have a beer maybe 10 times a year, if that. If that. Like 10 beers in a year. So, saying all this, guys, it makes sense why you're starting to see the Yu-Gi-Oh! Online community explode. And I think it's okay. Like, that's the world we're living in at the moment. Now, will things eventually get back to normal? I think so. I think long term the market, though, guys, is going to stabilize a little bit more. I don't think it's going to be as radical as it is right now. I think eventually you will, when things get back to a little bit of normal. It may take 8 months, it may take a year, but you'll start to see trends develop again in Yu-Gi-Oh! Instead of it just being this constant buyout of this, old cards going up like crazy, new cards going up, extremely crazy. I think eventually you're going to see that develop, guys. Eventually. But it may be a while before we get to that point. Eventually, we will have live events again. When will that point be? I don't know, but we will eventually. Could it be 2021? Yeah, it could be late 2021 maybe. We don't know. We don't. So I think eventually you'll start to see trends develop again. I think things eventually will get back to normal. But for right now, it's been a little bit crazy because, and on top of all this, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Up until recently has been a little bit boring for these reasons. All I see when I get on YouTube now is two things when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! Related content. I hate to say it. Buyout videos, market watch videos, and some deck profiles, and that's about all. I don't even see discussions anymore unless it was ban list related. That's how stale the Yu-Gi-Oh's gotten. Now, will it live past this? Oh yeah. I don't think it's going to die. I'm not saying that. I just think it's stale. Like, really stale. Like, maybe you've had this experience as a kid growing up. You know, you had that those last couple pieces of bread. They got stale. So I did the trick my grandmother used to do where I used to have to, pour some water on it and warm it up in the microwave and it became edible again. Hey, I had to do it. Grandma did not want me to throw food away. So I had to do that. So it got better, it got chewable, it got edible. And I know it's a very awful and weird analogy to use, but that's what I'm trying to say. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is stale, but eventually it will become better. That's what I'm trying to say, and I know that was a horrible analogy. But it's the first thing that popped in my head, so forgive me. But till next time, guys, tell me down, I'll see you guys. Yeah, till next time, guys, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling. Tell me your thoughts below on the current state of Yu-Gi-Oh! What are your thoughts? And I do apologize for that awful analogy. But I'll see you guys next time. Good luck dueling to all of you guys. Take care.